Figma just dropped an absolute game changer. You can design and publish websites directly inside of Figma. But does this mean that Framer is in trouble? So today we're going to break down how Figma Sites compares to Framer. We're going to talk about CMS, animation, and then we're also going to take a look at live sites and how the div blocks are actually built on the very live site. So that's going to be exciting in the end of the video. And then we're going to talk about which tool I would actually use today comparing these two. So let's take a look at Figma Sites. Figma Sites just released a couple weeks ago. So if you go into new file, you can create a site or you can create this make thing. I have two of these opened up here. I want to talk about both because they have consequences to Framer. So I just want to take a look at both of them. But anyways, let's take a look at Figma Sites first. So this is Figma Sites. You have your usual Figma, which is an actual Figma file. And then you have Figma Sites. So for now, they are different things. How this actually looks when you have a design file and you want to import it into Figma Sites is a different topic, but Figma Sites now has a fully fledged way to build sites. I mean, this is from desktop all the way down to mobile. And if you guys have used Framer before, you'll see how this looks pretty similar to what Framer already has. And it's the regular Figma UI. You can build a website, you can design whatever you need, and then you can just click publish on the top left up here, and then connect a domain, see different issues that Figma has found, and then you can also update it with whatever new designs or CMS you have added. So let's actually talk about the CMS. We have our site settings here, so we can add in a little bit of custom code. We can add in favicon, we can add in our meta images, meta descriptions, all that. So if we go ahead and hover over CMS, we'll see that it says that it's coming soon. So this is going to be one of the points where we compare with Framer. Right now, Figma Sites is a brand new product. So all of these things that we're used to with Framer isn't available yet in Figma Sites. I will say that the advantage that Figma has now is that people are just used to using Figma, and if they don't have to use another tool, well, it cuts down on that delivery time. If we click on one of the desktops here, we'll see that we have the usual Figma designs. We have auto layout, we have a fixed nav, components. If we double click on the component, we can go into everything that we're used to with Figma, right? Nothing's different. So where do we compare this with Framer? Well, before we talk about that, I want to also talk about this brand new thing called Make that Figma just announced, which is you can type in something that you want Figma to create and it'll do it for you. So from here, you can go ahead and publish this and it'll be its own little file and its own domain, which is insane. But for example, I just created this sign up flow and we can now publish this, and I'm going to click on that, see how it looks. And I mean, that's just a fully fledged piece of software there with its own little autofill thing, and we can preview the code if we want to. So this is kind of incredible. It's trying to compete with Cursor or maybe some other React component thing. So it's interesting that they're trying to do both things at the same time. Figma Sites as well with this code generator. So that's kind of interesting because it feels like they're trying to do everything. Whereas with Framer, if we go directly into Framer, they have, first of all, they're going deep into templates. They're allowing people to do lots of different animations and styles, and they're going really deep when it comes to updates. They're adding a lot of different capabilities. For example, now we have wireframer, so we can add in our landing page with AI and it'll just generate something for us using our actual colors that we have already in the file, the typography kit, the images, all that. It'll just add it in for us. And here it just created this new landing page with the footer that we already have with a component. So we can see that Framer is kind of for designers that want to build quick websites or even pretty extensive websites that have CMS already. So in this case, we have all of these different examples of blogs, legal, properties, other blogs. So we can see that this is very obviously for a specific use case and user. Whereas with Figma, in my opinion, they are such a big company that they're kind of just doing it for everyone. And it's not super niche just yet. I feel like the use case for Figma Sites right now is people that want to test a quick website and launch it, and they want to see what it's going to look like without having to worry too much about what the actual site is going to perform like, what it's going to be doing. It's just someone that wants to test their design, test their website before they actually hand it over to a developer. That, in my opinion, is what a Figma Sites website is for. So if we go into Arc here, this is the Figma Sites example that Figma has created for us. This is the template. If we go into the elements here, we can actually see what, I'm just gonna open this up in Arc. We can see how the website is actually built when it comes to all the elements and divs. So what Figma Sites is going to do is it's going to take the way that you design this with auto layouts, with components and everything, and it's going to build using those individual elements. Now that's why it's so important to get good at auto layout, and people always laugh at me, and I know so many designers say you don't need to know auto layout to be a good designer. I agree, but then it helps in cases like this where you're building something and you want to see a responsive development. So if your auto layout is going to be clean, then your build will also be clean. So in this case, we can see all the divs that are being populated here. We have random class names, which is kind of weird because it already is naming its own auto layout here. So I don't know why it's going to be adding its own name. But if we can open this up, we'll see, for example, the nav bar here. We can open that up. We'll see that we have another div here, another div, another div, another one, and I think that's it. And you might be wondering why that even matters if you have a lot of divs or not a lot of divs. Well, it all comes down to how quickly Google can read your website. And if you have a ton of divs and a ton of JavaScript, then it takes longer for Google to actually scan your website. And this all comes down to how the page is built. So in this case, I want to run a quick Google Lighthouse report to show you guys exactly what I mean by this. All right, so after running that Google Lighthouse report, we'll see that we have performance at 84, accessibility 100, best practices 79, and SEO 63. So if we want to take a look at better SEO, better accessibility, performance, all of that, I would say go with Framer for now, because I mean, if this is the example that Figma themselves are giving to us to say, look at what we can do, I mean, this is the literal first website that they make you download if you want to test it out, then I think it kind of shows that there's some problems here when it comes to the performance of Figma sites for now. The divs are a mess and CMS isn't live yet. So what's really left is speed of going from Figma to a live site. And if you want to actually have real clients and have a big agency and all that, then I think still use Framer, Webflow, Wix Studio even. And so all these bigger companies that have established CMS and plugins and different network of community, I would say go with them before you go with Figma sites, at least for now, in the date that I'm recording, which is May of 2025. But anyways, this is just the beginning. Figma versus Framer is only going to get better and more advanced. And I think this is a good thing for designers because we're going to have more competition from the product side. People are going to be developing faster. You're going to try to get more products out there for us because we want to choose what the best tool is for us. So it's only the beginning, but I'm going to be testing how Figma is going to stack up to other products in upcoming videos. So subscribe to not miss those videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.